ensures. Imagine a continent filled with limitless possibilities, where every African can realize their full potential. With the implementation of the continent-wide transformative flagship project of Agenda 2063, we can achieve this goal. An integrated high-speed trade network that connects African countries so that we can travel and transport goods with ease and just commodities that are developing and managing the continent's natural resources for all Africans. The world's largest trading zone in the African Continental Free Trade Area, which promotes trade within Africa and with the world. The African passport and the removal of restrictions through the free movement of persons, allowing Africans to travel, work, conduct business. A peaceful Africa where all guns are silenced. The Grand Inga Dam project will provide affordable and clean electricity. Improved and affordable air travel through a single African air transport market, SAATM, that connects African cities. An annual African Economic Forum that brings together great African minds to develop strategies to harness the continent's vast resources. The establishment of the African financial institutions that promote economic integration and the transparent mobilization of resources to promote economic development. The Great African Museum will preserve and promote our cultural heritage and celebrate Africa's influence on the cultures of the world. Promoting cybersecurity that protects our data so there is safety online and ensures that emerging technologies are used for the benefit of Africans. An African virtual and e-university that provides access to the highest quality tertiary and continuing education to Africans anywhere in the world. A Pan-African e-network for innovative e-applications and services that will transform Africa into an e-society. An African outer space strategy that bolsters economic development across all sectors and positions Africa as a regional market for space products and services. And the Encyclopedia Africana, which will document and celebrate Africa's history, culture, and the contributions of African people throughout the world. Let us unite to build the Africa we want. Visit www.au.int to learn more about Agenda 2063. Imagine a continent filled with limitless possibilities, where every African can realize their full potential. With the implementation of the continent-wide transformative flagship project of Agenda 2063, we can achieve this goal. An integrated high-speed train network that connects African countries so that we can travel and transport goods with ease. Continental strategy for Africa's commodities that ensures a collaborative process in developing and managing the continent's natural resources for all Africans. The world's largest trading zone in the African Continental Free Trade Area, which promotes trade within Africa and with the world. The African passport and the removal of restrictions through the free movement of persons, allowing Africans to live anywhere within their continent. A peaceful Africa where all guns are silenced. The Grand Inga Dam project will provide affordable and clean electricity. Improved and affordable air travel through a single African air transport market, SAATM, that connects African cities. An annual African Economic Forum that brings together great African minds to develop strategies to harness the continent's vast resources to the benefit of Africans. The establishment of the African financial institutions that promote economic integration and the transparent mobilization of resources to promote economic development. The Great African Museum will preserve and promote our cultural heritage and celebrate Africa's influence on the cultures of the world. Promoting cybersecurity that protects our data so there is safety online and ensures that emerging technologies are used for the benefit of Africans. An African virtual and e-university that provides access to the highest quality tertiary and continuing education to Africans anywhere in the world. A Pan-African e-network for innovative e-applications and
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are hearing me from right about now. It's a good afternoon from Nigeria, and I hope your day has been great and fantastic as well. Uh, I see Esther was the first person to join the call this afternoon, and Esther was excited to be joining the session. So I'm using this opportunity to, acknowledge those of you that came early to join the session. I see your excitement. I see you couldn't wait for the session to start. I will also not fail to acknowledge Salvar, Brenda, Kitivar, Mulugeta, and yes, a whole lot of every other persons who are right on the call. It's a great day, and also I want to say special welcome to the over 100 participants joining us live on YouTube. I hope this afternoon my sound is quite better to the previous time. I hope we're not going to be having the situations of low sound, we can't hear you, and all of that today. So please let me see in the chat. Can you all hear me loud and clear? Okay. Good afternoon to you all. Yes, yes, yes. I'm happy to be here once again. That's Namarome. Okay, Isaac from Uganda. I see you. Oh, Rejoice is saying acknowledge me. Okay, Rejoice, you acknowledged already. Okay, fantastic. Yes. Lidadi is telling me that the sound is perfect. Oh, the quality is great. Fantastic, fantastic. That's nice. That's nice. So it means that we're really going to be having a great time here together this afternoon. So let's do something very quickly. Um, I understand that we had issues with the attendance and all of that last week. I can already see some of you posting about it in the chat again. Yes, we are going to be attending to that matter soon enough. But beyond that, because we are very, concerned about your learning experience, we really want to know that what we are doing here at AIIDEV, especially with this program, Africa Mentorship Program, we want to be sure that it is making impact and it resonates well with many of you that are right on the program with us. So I want to see what learning areas, what were the key takeaways from the last lesson that you all had. So I want to see in the chat what were the key takeaways from the last lesson that prompted you to attend this section again. And also I see John Kent's message saying attendance today should not stress us up, please. Well, I think, yeah, that's not going to happen. But beyond the attendance, shall we concentrate on while we are here on, the learning experience? So if you would do well to use the chat, I really want to see what were your key takeaway and learning areas from the last lesson. Please share them with me in the chat, and I'll read them right out uh, from here. Okay. Oh, yes, I see Mr. Benny. Mr. Benny said the key takeaway for him was just do it. Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that. You should not be afraid to do anything. All right. Okay, someone else. That's Pascal. Pascal is saying his key takeaway was having a business model while building on SDGs. Oh, Samuel is saying his takeaway was ways to minimize plastic pollution. Muriel Yambo is saying from last session, key takeaways was finding your niche, having your personal income before engaging in startups, and keep away fear. Fantastic. Ashley Best is saying my key takeaway was that developing a sound business model is important. Fantastic, fantastic. I see Wenda Ingila. She's saying just do it. Start with what you have. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. That's nice. That's nice. I see Tony saying building on the SDGs to solve societal challenges was his takeaway. Ijoma Wangu Inwogu saying that the program is educative. It will help her grow higher. That's great. That's great. Yes, and if you can confirm each and every one, I want to believe that you can see ADF Project M4 live with you on the chat. So right about today, every other information that relates to attendance and what you need to do shall be shared with you by ADF Project M4. And I want to be sure that each and every one of you can already see the welcome message from AIDEV Africa M4. Yes, please confirm that so that we understand that we're not going to be having any issues with our attendance today. And while that is ongoing, it is my pleasure to once again uh, bring to you and greetings from the leadership of AIDEF Africa. And this is the second section of our workshop, especially with our African Mentorship Program this season. And yes, we have a seasoned speaker with us live on the session this afternoon, who is going to be facilitating this section. However, before I introduce our speaker for this afternoon to us, I really want to know whether we are interested in having this section. Of course, I could see from the chat that many of you had interesting takeaways from the last lesson, and you learned a lot, which is quite impressive. But beyond that, I wanted to know. I'd like to know what motivated you to come on the session this afternoon. What exactly are your expectations? So I really want to know what your expectations are for this afternoon. So you can keep that coming in the chat while I introduce to you our speakers for this afternoon. And as I introduce the speaker, I would, on one hand, also look at the chat to know what your expectations are for this afternoon. Of course, I can already see that just do it from last week, keeping away fear, resonates well with everyone. So, what do you think would be, what we'll be going home with today? What are your expectations? Please share with me in the chat. And yes, it is my pleasure this afternoon to welcome to this section Mr. Kiagitsi Alex. Before I bring Mr. Alex to the screen to say hello to you, I like to read out Mr. Alex's profile so you would understand that we have come to you this afternoon, with someone who is very fast on the topic that is to be discussed this afternoon. And Mr. Alex will be, speaking to us this afternoon on the 2063 agenda, the African we want. So this afternoon, we want to be learning on the kind of Africa that we all want, the Africa that we picture, and we will be looking at this from the lens of the 2063 agenda. I'm very sure maybe some of you, this is the first time you may be hearing about the 2063 agenda. You may be wondering what the 2063 agenda is, but based on the 2030 agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals, which we are, more than halfway into achieving now. And quite unfortunately, it appears as though many countries around the world will not be meeting their SDGs 2030 agenda. But the African continent has decided to work on the 2063 agenda which of course I'm sure that Mr. Alex will be giving us a background into this afternoon, and will be opening us into what it is to know and the areas of contribution by each and every one of us who are on this call this afternoon. I am definite about something that by the time we'll be leaving this session this afternoon, we'll be leaving here with a motivation to become an actor towards the achievement of the 2063 agenda. So, Mr. Kiajetri Alex is a seasoned professional with a strong background in the education and social welfare sector, complemented by extensive experience in volunteering and leadership roles. With a fervent desire to contribute to the development and transformation of individuals and community, Piagetway is eager to leverage his diverse skill sets in areas such as research, policy analysis, program project management, monitoring and evaluation, and organization management. As a dedicated professional, Piagetway is committed to making a positive impact on society and is always ready to embrace new challenges and opportunities for growth. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that you want to use your reactions to welcome Mr. Alex to joining us on this call this afternoon. And I promise you that it is really going to be a learning experience. So I want to see in the chat now while Mr. Alex come on your screen how you want to welcome him. I can already see some fire emojis. I can see some claps and applause and all of that. I'm sure we are really going. Oh, what you are looking forward to learning more about the SDGs goals. That's Lina. That is fantastic. And of course, someone else, Emmanuel, is saying his expectation is to gain insight on SDGs, especially SDG 13 and all of that. Yusuf is saying is to learn new method and trends of sustainable development. Fine. I love your expectations, and I'm definite that Mr. Alex is even going to beat that expectation of yours this afternoon. So, Mr. Alex, you're welcome to AIIDEV Africa, and I want to hand you over now to our SDGs African mentors. It's a good afternoon from Nigeria, Mr. Alex.
There we go. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mayor. Can you
Yes,
confirm that you can hear me?
loud and clear. So, Mr. Alex, can you hear me? Oh, is that my network? Oh, I guess Mr. Alex is having some network challenges. Well, let's just give it like a minute. I'm sure that Mr. Alex is going to join us soon. And I see Macharia's expectation. Macharia is saying, my greatest expectation is to get an insight on one or two things that can help us impact the world in a positive way. Learning about SDGs is all about motivation. Okay, that's fantastic. I see another person. Yes. Okay. 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 Yes, David Peter is saying, I hope to learn what I don't know about the SDGs from the seasoned teachers and leaders. That is fantastic. Tekla Majuma is saying that his expectation is to learn the linkages between the SDGs and the Agenda 2063. Of course, and you're at the right place. That you're going to learn this afternoon. Aisha Haliu is saying our expectation is to learn the possible solutions to what Africa is facing. Yes, yes. This exactly has some of the things that we'll be learning on this project, the program this afternoon. Please just afford us some minutes. I'm sure that soon enough would have Mr. Alex back with us on the call. That is really not going to be a problem. But while that is going on, I must acknowledge the kind of expectations that I'm reading here. It shows diligence on your path, and it shows that you have come to learn. Yes, Idemudia Richard is saying he can't wait to learn where he fits in. Of course, there will be so much to learn that you're going to discover yourself this afternoon. Yes, yes. Uh, Kitiva Francis is also saying that his own learning is to understand the significance of all the SDGs in our daily undertaking. Yes. And Kelechi Ichi is saying, this is my first time of hearing the 2063 agenda. Why so far away? Well, you will be learning why it's that far this afternoon from Mr. Alex. Yes. Yusuf Maitama is saying he's here to learn new methods and trends of sustainable development. Sheku Brima is saying his expectation for today's section is to learn more about achieving the sustainable development goals in Africa. Of course. And Mutonyi Deborah is saying she wants to become an activist when it comes to the 2063 agenda. And Emmanuel Segaye is saying our expectation is to gain the insight on SDGs and to invest on a country and particularly on our community. Well, that's a beautiful one. That's a beautiful one. I see a lot of expectations from you all this afternoon. Uh, I am taking it further. Yes. Margaret Wagenchi is saying she wants to learn the role of youth in advancing development agenda. Well, that's a very good one. That's a thoughtful one. And yes, Deborah is saying to discover how I can help my community with SDG 4 being my root. Hmm. Sandra Marawiki is saying she hopes to learn from experienced and experts in the SDGs so that she will be able to help to attain them. And Anna Envoy is saying she wants to have more insight on Agenda 2063. Mary Blessing is saying her expectation for today is to learn about the SDGs and find where she fits in. Elisha George, my expectation is to deepen my understanding of sustainable development goals, particularly goal number 4. Geosphere Ato, I expect to learn about how to use software development to tackle challenges in Africa. Of course, we are in the tech era. We should be able to adopt tech for the challenges that we face on the African continent. Sophie Takuba is expecting to learn strategies that we can use in succeeding SDGs. Of course, there is so much expectation this afternoon, and definitely I know that is going to be meant by our seasoned speaker. Of course, I hope that our patience is not exhausted, such that these things happen these days. Network is vastly becoming a challenge to us, especially on the African space. I don't know why that is so, but I just hope this will be favorable enough to allow us to be able to enjoy Mr. Alex this afternoon. So, for the sake of curiosity, especially for those that are already saying that maybe this is their first time hearing about the 2063 agenda. I think I wouldn't know. Maybe there are some of us that already have an understanding of this before now, and maybe in a way, you want to, bring others to speed in the chat box. Otherwise, I would do well to, give us, some enlightenment about that myself. But I wish that we can make this a kind of a peer-to-peer learning system, wherein you are the ones that would help, a brother or a sister. So I'm checking on the chat if there is anyone who has an understanding of what the 2063 agenda is. I want to read from the chat what understanding you have of it. Yes, I'm waiting. I want to see that. I'm waiting to see that. Okay. Oh yeah, Samuel. Samuel is saying the first series was superb. I trust that the second series shall be great. Ah, okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Yes, I'm still waiting. I'm waiting to see what your understanding is of the 2063 agenda. All right. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Finance Simon. Finance Simon is saying that the 2063 agenda is a blueprint to transform Africa. That is very correct. Motion is supporting that, saying Ah, the African we want. Oh, fantastic. So we have knowledgeable people about the 1063 agenda here. Tolani Akintayo is telling us that the Agenda 2063 encapsulates not only Africa's aspiration for the future, but also identifies key flagship programs which can boost Africa's economic growth and development. Fantastic, fantastic. Fantastic. I love that we have people who have idea about the 2063 agenda. And of course, for some of us who are on the call that may be wondering, what is the 1063 agenda? How can I know about it and how? Yes, do not worry. Right here on this section this afternoon, you're going to be equipped with all the knowledge that you need about the 2063 agenda. All right. So while we're still waiting, okay, Lady Rejoice is saying that for me, I know that Agenda 2063 is basically about the efforts countries are to bring on board for sustainability by 2063. That is cool. That's cool. That's correct. That's very correct. That's very correct. However, let me just tell us a few things about the 2063 agenda. So, the 2063 agenda is just like someone said earlier, that is the development blueprint, by the African Union, and it is seen as a strategic framework, especially for the socioeconomic transformation of the African continent over a period of 50 years. Is over a period of 50 years. So what is it talking about in particular? So it is particularly looking at how can we harness the potential that we have within the African space, within the African continent, okay, so that we will be able to adequately develop our socioeconomic situation. Of course, many of us will agree with me on this section today that there is a whole lot of things affecting the socioeconomic development of the African space. Poverty abounds, there's a lot of hunger, healthcare is about nothing to write home about. You know, decent work and economy is a challenge within the African space. And when you even look further, when it comes to the minerals with which is being used for global development, especially those that are being more harnessed by the global north, many of these are being sourced within the African space. And we can still even understand that with the abundance of such mineral resources within the African space, we still continue to suffer in decent work and economy, especially when you look at countries where there is a high um, high rate of illegal mining, which puts a whole lot of African youth into the kind of work that are not decent, as many of them have to work in illegal mining sites, even underage children who have to fend for themselves because of the situation of many countries in Africa. I see many of you still continue in the charts to show your exposition to the 2063 agenda. I see from Richard that it says it focuses on organizing a coordinated effort to remodel Africa socioeconomically. Yes, Ashabarita is also saying that the Agenda 2063 is rooted from Pan-Africanism to provide a framework and address the development issues in Africa. Yes, that's correct. So Takova is saying that the 2063 agenda is the development blueprint to achieve inclusive, yes, I love that word, inclusive, inclusive and sustainable socioeconomic development over a 50-year period. That's good. That's good. So I think with this fast exposure to the 2063 agenda by some of you, and of course with the little things that we've been able to touch on right about now, I'm sure that even those of us that do not have a prior understanding of the 2063 agendas are a little enlightened now and exposed to what the agendas are. Right about now, we have Mr. Alex back with us on the section this afternoon. I hope network will be fair to him again. I will be handing over to him now, and of course, he will also monitor, your actions, your contributions, how lively you are making the section to be. Right, he will be seeing your actions on the YouTube. He will be seeing your actions on the YouTube. Of course, we have already welcomed him earlier, so right now I'll just hand over to him to go on into his presentation for this afternoon. Once again, Mr. Alex, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mayowa. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Apologies, I've been having technical difficulties, and I just hope that we won't have the same situation very soon, and we'll be able to navigate this space well. So,
I understand.
yes, even from my breathing, you can tell I've been running around just trying to fix. So I'm pretty much excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to contributing. I'm just sorting out everything for now. Yes, there's the face to the
Fantastic. Fantastic.
great.
Great.
You can see
Great.
me now. You can hear me
Yes,
clearly.
yes, yes,
Lovely,
yes.
lovely. Thank you very much. And I've actually been looking at your or listening through my phone. as to the different expectations, the different understanding that young people have with regards to exactly what it is, Agenda 2063, as well as I feel like they are mostly closer to SDGs. And I hope by the end of my presentation, they'll be much more closer to the Agenda 2063 than they would be with the SDGs. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to contribute. So if you're ready, then I can just start off, because time has also went on both our ends.
Yeah, yeah. So, you can just go on to your presentation now. The audience are readily expecting an insightful section, and of course, it is all fires on the YouTube. Yeah, so you can just, put a thing on it right now.
Oh, lovely. Um, let me know if you can see my slide. Um, Let me know if you can see my slide.
It's not, yeah, it's just displayed. I see the African Union already. So maybe you can just
Okay.
put it on presentation mode so it comes out bigger.
I think the laptop has been overworked, so it's doing that slow.
I
Just
understand.
yeah, just confirm with me
Oh,
once you.
fantastic. It's all perfect now.
Oh, lovely. Just to make sure that we don't take much of everybody's time, my name is Keagetso Alex Patlaitsile, and you might find that name difficult, but it's a very easy name. In the African Union Commission, I'm the education lead in the youth division of the Women, Gender, and Youth Directorate. So that is how I'm coming to present and to actually have a conversation. This is not much more of a presentation or a class. It's much more of a conversation of what exactly is the Agenda 2063, and perhaps a little bit of introduction of what exactly it is, the African Union or the African Union Commission. So the expectations, or what I would deem to be the objectives or learning outcomes of this session, is to provide a broad overview of the organization and provide an understanding of the AU Agenda 2063, as well as highlight the second 10-year implementation plan of the Agenda 2063. So that is how I'll be trying to ensure that everybody understand this. Now, going forward, we are going to have to refer back a little bit to history, largely because I'm just trying to move some of the parts of Zoom so that they don't overlap my presentation too much. Yes, I hope so. So what we have to be talking about firstly is the Organization of African Unity. So before the African Union, there was something what was called the Organization of African Unity. So this was formed in 1963 in Addis Ababa by 32 African states or African member states that had achieved independence. So at the beginning, it was called the Organization of African Unity. And then as time went on, other member states, as they continued to gain independence, they joined, with 21 more joining by 2002, where the Organization of African Unity now had 53 member states. And then later on, South Sudan, which is our newest member of Africa, joined in 2011, and Morocco rejoined again in 2017. And then through the different conversations and the different summits that happened within the Organization of African Unity, the African Union now, which was then launched in July in 2002, in July in Durban in 2002. That was when there was a convening of the first assembly of the heads of state of government. So that was when the first action of what we now call the African Union actually took place. That was in Durban, 2002, now changing to being the African Union. So, like I said, this is the timeline of which how this actually took place. So, as we said, in 1963, there was the OAU, and then there were a couple of summits that happened that actually led to the formation of the African Union, the African Union in that regard. In 1999, there was this City Declaration, which was calling for the African Union, for the establishment of the African Union. At the same time, there was in 2000, there was the Lome Summit that called for the adoption of the African Union Constitutive Act, which is basically the constitution of the African Union, of which then in 2002 led to this establishment of the African Union Commission, from the Organization of African Unity to the African Union. So now that I was hoping to engage people as we continue, but since it's also on YouTube, I thought it would be on Zoom, so we could also have a back and forth. But I'm sure the host will assist me with that. Now, what exactly was the objectives of the African Union? Why was the OAU at first? So with the African countries gaining independence and moving on, they decided, or they found, that it was better to promote unity and solidarity among each other, for them to be one Africa. That is also to coordinate African states' cooperations to achieve better lives for its people. So that there is cooperations between member states and between the African people in general, and to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the member states, as well as to fight colonization and apartheid. We all know that apartheid ended in 1994 in South Africa. So this was one of the platform of how to engage to ensure that we fight that, and also to promote international cooperation within the UN frameworks and harmonize member state policies. This is to ensure that when you get to the UN, there's a common position or overall voice of what Africa is saying. So this was therefore the platform to come up with those ideas, to come up with those agreements, to cultivate that common position of the African member states. I'm just going to rush. Now, after 2002 in July, there came the African Union with this ultimate goal of forming an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, which is driven by its citizens or its people, and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. It is still almost the same sentiments, but it's more about, let us move forward. We integrate, we become prosperous, and we are peaceful. And the development of our continent is driven by its people, and we are well represented in the global arena. So in 2015, the General Assembly, we'll talk a little bit about the General Assembly and who exactly is that. To provide the collective vision and roadmap, Agenda 2063 was adopted in order to provide the collective vision and roadmap to build this prosperous, peaceful, and united Africa based on shared values and destiny. So now we continue to say, okay, now that we have come together, what is the main document that we can have, or the framework that we can have to drive this Africa that we want? So just to give you a synopsis, this is the African Union, right? The African Union has the General Assembly. We'll talk about the General Assembly. And then it has the Executive Council, and then what we call specialized technical committees and permanent representative committee. So the General Assembly is made up of head of states, and then the Executive Council is largely made up of foreign ministers or ministers of foreign affairs. And then we have PRC, or Permanent Representative Committee, which is made mostly of ambassadors and permanent representatives to the AU. And then STCs, these are made up of ministers from our different member states, depending on the thematic that they're in. It can be, if it's the Youth Technical Committee, it's going to be the Minister of Youth and so on. And then these are the different organs of the African Union. So where I am in the African Union Commission, what exactly is the African Union Commission? That is the Secretariat of the African Union. And then there are different organs of the African Union. That is the Peace and Security, ECOSOC, PAP, and so on as we continue to name the others. African Peer Review Mechanism, regional communities, and so on. This is what we call the RECs, the regional economic communities. We can quickly just share the different regional economic communities which we think or which we know of in the chat, just so that we can have that conversation. Now, moving forward, as I said, let us now break it down into details. The Assembly, this is the supreme organ that comprises of head of states and governments from the 55 member states. What it does, obviously, it determines AU policies, establishes priorities, adopts the annual program, and monitors the implementation of these policies and decisions, right? So they meet in what we call the ordinary session in February each year. We have seen that a lot of our presidents in February, they come to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. That is for this assembly meeting. And then sometime in the middle of the year, there's what we call mid-media coordination meeting, which is held in another member state country. So where it's the General Assembly, the RECs, the AUC Commission, which is us, and the regional mechanisms. So exactly what is after the Assembly, there's the Executive Council. The Executive Council supports the Assembly and is responsible to its reports to the Assembly. So it is made up of ministers of foreign affairs. I'm sure you're usually also aware that they also come here and deliberate in this regard. Now, moving forward, I hope there are no questions in this regard. We're all excited to get to know more. And then, as I said, the PRC, this is permanent representatives to the union and other plenipotentiaries of the member states. So this is what we call the PRC. For them, they meet often. They meet at least once a week and host an ordinary session 2 times a year. So these are the different embassies for the different member states to the African Union. And then we have what we call the special technical committees, or what you call the STCs. This comprise of ministers or senior officials, as I indicated. For example, we work on the STC, on the youth STC. So there's the different ministers of youth come here and they deliberate on the work. From there, the work that has been deliberated on, it goes to the PRC, from the PRC to the Executive Council, from the Executive Council to the Assembly. I hope we're able to catch a bit of a drift on that. So, and then these are the different, AU recognizes 8 regional economic communities, that is the UMA, COMESA, SENSAD, EAC, EXA, ECOWAS, IGAD, and SADC. So what exactly do these regional economic communities do? Hey, the English is doing me. But let us hold in. We say the regional economic integration, they are there to provide what we call regional economic integration between members of the regions and through the wider African economic activity. So the different member states that constitute to that regional economic community. So it's more about having that block of regional economic integration, which largely contributes to the overall economic activity of the African continent. Now that we have done much with those, coming back to the African Union Commission, which implements that Agenda 2063, which I said it was adopted in 2015. So the African Union Commission, that is the Secretariat of the African Union. So you should always differentiate between, for example, the African Union chairperson is the head of state, currently the president of Mauritania. And then we have the chairperson of the African Union Commission, who is His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed. So I just needed to draw a bit of difference in that. So the African Union Commission is made up of the chairperson, deputy chairperson, and 6 commissioners, as I said here. What we call agriculture, rural development, blue economy, economic development, trade, industry and mining, education, science, technology and innovation, infrastructure and energy, political affairs, peace and security, health, humanitarian affairs, and social development. So these are the different commissioners or what we would call perhaps the departments, but these are not departments, these are the different directorates which are there. And then there are those which are under the cabinet of the chairperson. I don't have to go deep into that. I just wanted to just share a synopsis of what exactly this is. So now let's come back to Agenda 2063. I'm sure we have all been waiting. Like what somebody had said earlier, it is the blueprint and the master plan for transforming Africa into a global powerhouse of the future. It is that strategic framework that aims to deliver the goals for its inclusive and sustainable, for Africa's inclusive and sustainable development. So usually the Agenda 2063 is, people would say, they call it the Africa we want, because the Agenda 2063 aims to explain or transfer these desires and goals into paper, into strategy, into goals, into actions of this Africa that we want, which we talked about it being an integrated, prosperous, peaceful Africa driven by its citizens and representing a dynamic force where in the international arena. So how exactly is Agenda 2063 implemented? It is implemented or structured. It's a 50-year development blueprint, and obviously it's implemented with 10-year implementation plans, 5 of them. So every 10 years, there's a different implementation plan contributing to Agenda 2063. I would like to take a pause, and before I move to the next aspect of this, just want to take a pause and just hear from what's going on in the chat from Mayowa.
Oh, yes. Personally, I'm enjoying it. It's moving as expected, and the same thing is going on for the audience. Many questions as regards those who seem a little knowledgeable about the subject for discussion. They are catching and they are being enlightened already.
Okay.
I did send you the YouTube link if you want to, by the side, open
Yes.
that screen so you could also follow up and see what's going on with them. But it is really an engaging class. They are following up actively.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
appreciate it. So I'm just going to then move to the next section. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you. So moving on to the next, I just hope the internet won't play me dirty this time around. Moving on to the next aspect. So in the Agenda 2063, there is what we call the 7 aspirations, right? So this are the overall aspirations of us, the people of the continent. So I'm just going to share the different aspects of this Agenda 2063. So the first goal or the first aspiration is to have a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. An integrated continent, secondly, politically united, based on ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's renaissance. So remember that at the beginning, these were the core values of the formation of the African Union, that is the Pan-Africanism aspect, Africa's renaissance, Africa in the global arena. So there's the way we go. The third is an Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law. And a peaceful and secure Africa. An Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, shared values, and ethics. That's where we go. I'm an African. How we reflect back to Kwame Nkrumah says, I cannot really quote the lines, but I'm an African not because I was born in it or something like that, but I know that was a good quotation that relates back to this. And then an Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women and youth, caring for children. Africa as a strong, united, and influential global player and partner. So before you really, this becomes really the backbone or the frame of the Agenda 2063, of which for you to understand, these are the 7 aspirations. And then from these 7 aspirations, I'm sure as you can look at it later, from these 7 aspirations, you have 20 goals, which are born from the 7 aspirations. So each aspiration that maybe the first one has 3, the next has 4. So in overall, we have 20 goals from the 7 aspirations. So now, going forward, I think we may have played this before, but I'm going to try to see if my network doesn't let me down. Before we can continue down, I just want to play to play this link if we can, hopefully. Let me know. Mayoa, since I realized that you had played this video before, do you mind playing it for me for a short while about Agenda 2063 before we break it down? Hello, Mayoa, can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can hear you. I had just to make a change of device, so I do not even have access to that video on this device again. So maybe you could just play it, and we could move with it.
We let us play it at the end. Let us play it
Mm,
at the end,
yeah,
or towards the end.
yeah, I think that
If
works.
unless if you have access to it now, but let us
Oh,
play
no,
it later, so that we can then use it as the basis of our interaction. I'll share
yeah,
with you the
fantastic.
different links. Thank you.
Good.
Mm.
All right.
So let us now take a closer look at the Agenda 2063. I see some comments already with people saying that the Africa we want. Okay, somebody is asking for the link. That's huge, and we need a lot of key players to play to make this a reality. Kwame Nkrumah said, "I'm not born in Africa. Africa is born in me." Yes, thank you very much, Judith. Appreciate that. So this was the essence of the um, Pan-Africanism spirit that is there. Because I'm interested in the strategies and what has been done. So let us get there. Now we move. So the first 10-year implementation plan, that is from 2014 to 2023. This first 10-year implementation plan was termed the Decade of Convergence. Why? Because it gave African member states an opportunity to galvanize around a common development agenda. So it was the point of let us converge together. Let us move together into having this common position, this common agenda of development. So based on its evaluation, having I'm just sorting something out on the link. Hope the internet won't have a problem.
And
I hope
also,
you
Alex,
can.
you can drop the link to us in
Yes,
the Zoom here, and our coordinators would spread it to them on the YouTube.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, I will make sure to do that.
Yeah, good.
I don't know what's happening. Um, oh, okay. It looks like, pardon me, it looks like what's happening? It looks like it's playing. The link is only now playing. But I'll share the link. I'll just close and then I'll share.
Fantastic.
My PC is frozen.
We are all.
Mayo, can you hear me?
Oh yes, I
Almost
can hear you,
graduated.
Alex.
What was the
Okay. I need to escape to close the link so that I can then be able to share. Apologies on that.
after graduating from
No. It's just fine. It's just fine. I understand.
is securing a job certain? I want to.
And for those of you that are asking for the slides, well, be rest assured that upon the permission of Mr. Alex, there is no problem. We're going to share the slides with you. Rest assured about that. However, while you'll be waiting on us to share the slides with you, YouTube is always accessible. You can always come back to the teaching resources on the YouTube, and it will help you answer all the questions you have right in time. Okay? So while you expect that we share the slides with you, YouTube is also a learning platform which you can always revisit. All right, so let's just give Mr. Alex about a minute or two, and he would share his screen again. Of course, it's it's a whole lot of things, network not being fair, and a whole lot of things going on there. I think that about now, we just lost Mr. Alex to network again, but you give us about 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm sure we'll be right back in the house with you. While we're expecting Mr. Alex to join us again, I think I've noticed a whole lot of things going on in the chat. I don't know. What do you feel? What do you feel? Is it insightful? Is it opening your eyes to new things? Is it, I don't know. Just I want to know, what are you feeling? What are you feeling about the lecture going on? Oh, Lady Rejoice is saying great. Okay. Oh, Mazonda is saying this is insightful. Beverly is saying thank you, Mr. Alex. Okay. Okay. Oh, great. I see Enoetel saying let's make Africa great again. Fantastic. Fantastic. It shows that we are all following and we are moving to it. So before Mr. Alex is back with us, although he was at the near end of the presentation already, I guess if it was not the last slide, it was going to be about second to the last slide. So if you ask me, I'm sure that we've had the best part of the presentation to ourselves already. So I just want to ask us that haven't known the 7 focus areas of the 2063 agenda, I think I want to readily believe that by now you should have a focus area, an area that interests you for contributions. I'm sure you should have something like that already. I think you should have something like that already because I told you that all of us will be living here today as an actor working towards the attainment of the 2063 agenda. I can already know that for those of us who really do not know or have an idea about the 2063 agenda before now, with the exposition from Mr. Alex, I trust that you are better enlightened now. So it is in my, I really would love to know now. I want to hear from you. What is the focus area? What areas, in which areas do you think you want to make impact in contributing to the achievement of the 2063 agenda? Share with us in the chat. Oh, Mr. Richard says his own still remains education. So he wants to be a driver of education within the African continent towards the attainment of the 2063 agenda, which is a good one because even the African children right about now are not having a good standing with access to education. We still have about a mid-range illiteracy rate, although it's quite getting better these days compared to before. I see Musa is saying, I love and I am working on aspiration 4 of the AU Agenda 2063 on creating a peaceful and a secure Africa. In fact, Judith K. Musa is seeking any collaborator whose interest area would be in the area of peace. And I see that yourself and Machine would you already have the same focus area because Machine also says his focus area would be peace and security. So you can link up, you can link up, so you can collaborate together on initiatives around that. I also see Tamara is joining you. Tamara also is interested in a peaceful and a secure Africa. Adegoke Abiodun is saying that he is interested in the Agenda 1. Fantastic, fantastic. I believe I should see much more if we have all, follow up with the section accordingly. Yes, Mutonyi Deborah is saying our own focus will be on education and gender equality. Fantastic. That is a good focus area also. That's it. Yes, Mr. Alex is back with us. So we'll continue to the section now while we will be wrapping up in about 10 minutes. Yes, Mr. Alex, you're welcome back. I see what the network is doing to you.
I apologize. Thank you
And
so
that's
much for
fine.
welcoming me back. I can, if I can allow me to quickly share the screen. Otherwise, I've
Yes,
asked my colleague Arlette. I'm sure you can see Arlette who joined. So if it
yes,
goes down, I'll be presenting or I'll be wrapping up through her portal.
yes. So she has the right to share the screen.
Oh, I don't have the right to.
No, I gave Alex the right already.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. We can now see Alex's screen. So maybe you just want to put it on presentation mode so it comes full on the screen.
Thank you very much. I hope you are able to see the the full screen?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We're able
Yes.
to see the first right
Let
now.
me just try to quickly run on it. So I saw comments on what exactly has happened and what that the goals are good, what is there on the ground that is happening, and that those were very good questions. Those were very perfect questions in that regard. So I'm just going to hop and say the evaluation shows that the first decade provided Africa with a unique opportunity for all 55 member states to galvanize around a common development agenda. Let us look, for example, now with African Union being joining the what's going on, the G20, being able to be represented into the G20, which is now, I guess, G21, or how it's going to be, so forth. So for Africa, it is a very good and great achievement, and to also push that representation onto the global arena. And we have also seen that in terms of infrastructure and economic integration, there's been better improvements. For example, 49 AU member states have ratified the AFCFTA agreement. So AFCFTA, this you can look much more onto it and actually expand it better. The regional economic communities are getting stronger. Continental frameworks like Agenda 2063 and the different frameworks and programs that exist under the Agenda 2063 are increasingly becoming the guiding instruments for action with bilateral and multilateral partners. So for AU, that is in terms of convergence and building a common position, that has been a very good achievement in that regard. So the second 10-year implementation plan that is going to take place from 2024 to 2023, now we are going to accelerate that what we have achieved. That is called the decade of acceleration. So now I've realized that much of people are aware of Agenda 2030, but not Agenda 2063. Now, to bring those two together, we have what we call two agenda, one plan, or we rather dubbed it as one plan, two agendas. So that is to bring a synergy between Agenda 2063 and Agenda 2030. So the movement is going to be on emphasizing the strengthening of collaborative planning between AU and the United Nations, as well as leverage implementation arrangements, such as bring resources together to fast track the realization of these agendas across Africa. So I'll just urge you to read more on the 20 goals of the Agenda 2063 and its aspirations, so that you can be able to link it together with the SDGs or Agenda 2030. So, okay, thank you. So the second 10-year implementation plan is going to be focusing on these moonshots. So we call them the 7 moonshots. So that is for the second 10-year implementation plan of the Agenda 2063. What are we trying to aim or to get by the year 2033? The aim is for every AU member states to attain at least the middle income status, Africa to be more integrated and connected, public institutions to be more responsive as compared to what is now happening, Africa resolving conflicts amicably so that we move towards achieving our peace aspect. Africa values are explicit and promoted. We need, that is built the centrality. Yes, there's the centrality around I see a communication that is coming. I'll try to then be fast. So you can then, that is, Africa citizens are more empowered, more productive. Africa is a strong and influential global player. Seems like I'll just move forward quickly. That is through this theory of change, which we plan to actually take this action forward. So we're going to be looking at the drivers, pathways, enablers, and this moonshot. So this is to ensure that every entity integrates the agenda into their plans, budgets, and statistics, entity, member states, and institutions. And to ensure that flagship projects are implemented with the right speed and scale and in the right sequence. And also ensuring that the continental frameworks like Agenda 2063 and others provide the needed guidance to deliver. There's moonshots, and so on and so on. This is building coordination, domestication, building awareness, partnership. Next. Just so that I can quickly go on. So what is the role of the youth in the implementation of the second 10-year implementation plan? The youth is the demographic majority in many African countries, and youth are very integral to driving the change that we are envisioning in the Agenda 2063. So we want that is for the youth to be active participation. They need to they need to be resources that allow young people to actively engage into the planning, implementation, and monitoring of Agenda 2063. We would like youth to be involved in the decision-making processes at different levels, local, national, and continental, so that their voice be heard and their voices be amplified. Youth have fresh ideas and innovation and creativity, so would like that to be also being put into that. And more so, I have seen a lot of you who want to do advocacy. So this will also be a great angle, that is to play a significant role in advocating for the strategic objectives of the Agenda 2063, that is understanding it and disseminating it and holding discussions on it and linking your work, be it in education space, be it in the organization that you work with. And also, we believe that if youth are equipped with the necessary knowledge and expertise, they could contribute effectively in the different sectors: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, entrepreneurship, and SDGs themselves. So we push for that equipment, that necessary knowledge development, dissemination, capacity building, and as well as youth entrepreneurship and employment, promoting youth entrepreneurship, that is through funding, through capacity building, and so on, and creating decent implementation in that regard. In that regard. So this was just a synopsis. I wouldn't go much more into the directorate work. Back. I wouldn't go much into the director work. I'm just going to finish my presentation here. You can go back again. Okay. I think for now it's a thank you, because I had prepared I wanted us to do a quick a back and forth sort of a conversation, as well as I've created a short survey for us to see if we like a quick exciting one. If you allow me, Mayowa, to just do that one, I'd appreciate
Please
it.
go ahead, please.
Do you mind then giving me the what do you call
Okay,
to
the
share the
host right.
screen?
Yes, please,
Yes.
Alex, pass me the host, please.
So yes, if you can allow me to share the screen.
Yes, please. 1 minute. I'm right on it.
All right.
Alex, please. Could you make Alex the
Oh,
co-host
let me
so you
share the
can share
screen.
his screen?
It will just take you a minute or 1 minute 30 or 2 minutes.
No problem. No problem. Yes, you are co-host now.
Lovely. Thank you, Alet. Let me know if you can see the screen. Okay, it will come. Can you see the screen? Apologies
It's
with my net
not up yet,
and
but I trust it will
discrepancies.
be up soon.
Okay. You'll see it in a bit.
Yes.
Yes, as I'm doing this, I'm open to questions because my session is towards the end. Just open
Yeah,
questions.
you know, there will be like lots of questions for your section. You know, I could
Uh-huh.
already see in the chat someone asking how they could be a part of the Hey You. And
Mm-hmm.
I think another question that I
I
saw
will,
another question. Oh yes. Um, what's the person asking?
I will ensure to share with you our social media inputs. I'll
Oh,
let us share with
fantastic.
you our social media handles so that they can follow. It's
Mm,
easier, it's always easier that way so that you can follow and
good.
see what is happening and see how you can get involved.
Fantastic. Yes, your screen is up now.
Yes, that's what even though in my, okay, I'm trying to. So, yes, there we go. If they can be able to scan, I don't know if that would be feasible, but if they are able to scan that code and reach the Mentimeter,
Mm,
yeah, that's what I'm trying. My
okay.
PC is frozen. I don't know what's going on.
Oh wow. Well, I can already join you on Mentimeter.
They okay.
Mm.
That's
And
I don't know. Today seems not to be the day. Everything
I,
is moving against it. It's
yeah,
that. And I
it was
really
more like
apologize to the participants.
uh and
Yes.
of course I love the I
So Mayowa, I hope we're able to reach each other. This is just the last two minutes of my interaction. I
okay.
see, like I said, what does it take to work with the AU? They'll share Alert will share the social media. That we are always sharing the different ways, the different um engagements that we have in that regard. Um, yes, how the African countries should be peaceful. That is a conversation that can be had. The policy practice aspect of public health is absolutely fascinating, right? We love it. Sustainable greetings to the potential preserve dealing in the slides of the presentations. I've not seen an African independent organ dealing only with persons with disabilities. Can you comment on that? That is why I kept on continuously talking about inclusivity. So we would like to have inclusivity at different angles in arena and to input. As we say, we continuously learn to improve generally. So the second thing, implementation plan is the opportunity to improve in that regard. Mayowa, I know you've been patient with me. Let me know if you're able to let me know if you're able to do exact to join the Mentimeter.
Oh yes, the link has been shared on YouTube, and
Okay.
I trust
Okay.
that some persons should be on the Mentimeter already.
Okay. Okay. It's a quick one. Hopefully, as long as I know I can see the internet is still playing us, and but we have
Mm.
won so far. As long as
Of
we've
course,
managed to do
of
the
course.
presentation,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. we- 26, 26. Okay. Okay. I just want to quickly present it, which I'm having challenges. I wish I'd put on alert. Okay. I see answers coming on already. I see answers coming already on the first question. Alert, did you join the Mentimeter? Okay. I don't know what's showing now because my screen is just
Yeah,
okay.
your screen is still on the barcode. I was thinking now that your screen will be showing the answer graphs.
That's what is showing on my end.
Is the barcode that is displayed here.
Yeah. I guess we'll get it in a bit. There are 38 people and people are coming in. Let me know once the PowerPoint changes because that's all I need to do and then I'll be off. Because also even me, it's past my work time now. I'm just enjoying being part of this conversation, part of this discussion. And I just want to, I couldn't do everything I wanted, but yeah, just wanted to. It still hasn't changed.
We won. Yes, it doesn't change.
Okay. Good luck or hard luck, because from my end, I'm able to I'm able to see. I'm able to see
Okay.
it.
You know what, Alex? Alex, I think what just happened is of course, because they are just direct questions,
Yes.
I would just suggest that for some of them that may not be too sure of the answers that they had picked, after this section, they can just do well to make such researches online, and definitely they
Okay.
will be rest assured of the choices they had made. Because I
Okay.
see that with this barcode here, we may not be living here until the next 3 hours and nothing may change.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you're able to receive the social media handles from Alet.
Oh yes, sure.
Okay. Okay. Please share with that. And then she can also share our own social medias, which we can both then be able to engage in that regard. Other than that, unfortunately, I'm having a good time seeing the answers and the people who are getting the answers right. So yeah, I guess next time.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Really, it interests me to go on and on with you this afternoon. I'm enjoying every bit of the section as much as our audience are, but unfortunately, we still have our hands tied with some other engagement for later in the day.
Thank you
So
so
we
much.
do not have any choice but to go. But on behalf of the leadership of AIIDEV Africa, we especially appreciate you for your time this afternoon. We commend you for the good job that you're doing with African Union and trying to, give us the kind of Africa that we all want. And I see that this is a general goal upon which each and every one of us is interested. And yes, personally, I envision to see that Africa come alive sooner than 2063. So we really appreciate your time, Alex. We cannot say our thanks enough. And of course, I'm sure that sooner and one of these days when we knock on your door again, it will always be a pleasure for you to open to us.
Lovely. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm glad that we have engaging audience. And as we all continue, we want there's an Africa that we want, and we will push towards that. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to all the participants for your time and patience. Have a lovely one.
And you too. Yeah, thank you very much. So for everyone that's joined this afternoon, I want to say thank you. We appreciate your time and your efforts. Of course, we know how it is for many of you, especially those that have to cope with network and all of those challenges. But we appreciate all of your dedication. And I'm sure that attendance is not a problem again this week. Many of you would already have access to registering your attendance. And I believe that you have seen all the instructions that have been passed to you on the next line of action. Going on social media, put out there your learnings from today's session, target us across our social media platforms, share the link in the text form, And of course, I told you, I see many of you already asking for WhatsApp groups and all of that. This project is in phase 6. And of course, for as many of you as would make it to that phase to be able to be added to the WhatsApp community, I trust that you're going to find yourself in the WhatsApp community. But of course, because we are trying to portray excellence and diligence in everything we do, so we want to ensure that everyone that will be in the WhatsApp group are those that merited being in that WhatsApp group. So your attendance are key, adhering to instructions are key, and of course, we wish you all the very best in all of your other engagement. Your next session is next Friday, the same time about today. I want you to go on to practice what you have learned, make further learnings, explore other options, and I'm very sure that together we shall all see the Africa that we want. Thank you very much, everyone, and I wish you all the best and a fantastic weekend ahead. Bye for now.